So you want to do the invocation first?
Yeah.
Please bow with me in prayer. Dear God, our Heavenly Father, you are all-powerful, all-knowing, ever-present God. You are our Creator, the sustainer of all things, including our very lives. Through your grace, you have given us so much to be thankful for in this, your world, including the beautiful Madison County where we live. You are the giver of all good things, the one and only sovereign King of the universe. You have given us general revelation of who you are in all that we can see, touch, hear, taste, and smell. These things alone are evidence of your existence and of your power to create everything, visible and invisible. Yet, there are many in this world, and specifically this county, and some in this place tonight that don't honor you as Lord. Those who are not in Christ have exchanged the truth that we see in the universe and in the pages of Scripture for a lie, who have and who are currently worshiping the creation rather than the Creator. For this, they are guilty and deserving your righteous judgment. But praise be to God that you offer a way for those who are living in idolatrous sin to be forgiven, if they but confess their sin and place their faith and trust in Jesus Christ, who loves them and died to take the punishment for sin, the just for the unjust. It is an amazing blessing that you would be willing to save in me, and I praise you, Lord, that you have chosen to save a wretch like me, and that you promise to save any who come to you, repent of their sin, and place their faith and trust in you. I pray that everyone in this county, especially the leaders in this room, would bow the knee to Christ as Lord and Master, that they would recognize that they are appointed by you to promote the good of people by operating and governing according to your holy law, according to your standard given to us in the pages of Scripture. I pray that you would be honored in the hearts and lives of all in this great county, in homes, in schools, in places of worship, amongst civil government, and amongst these supervisors here tonight. I thank you that you allow all those who are your children through repentance of sin and faith in you to come to you in prayer, because you love us and desire to answer our prayers. Your word says, if you did not spare your own son, but gave him up for us all, how will you not also with him give us all things? It is for this reason we come to you and ask these things in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Justin. All right, let's go ahead and do a roll call vote, please.
Fitch.
Here.
Stancil.
Here.
Hobbs.
Here. All right, we're all here. Review of the agenda, disclosure of conflict of interest. Is there need to be any amendments to the agenda?
No, I have no conflict. Yeah, I'm not approving the claims.
The claims.
But you both signed it, so it shouldn't matter.
So we always still have to.
Well, you just won't sign it, so it'll be in
Okay, so we'll just note that in the minutes. Okay, so we'll go ahead. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
there. So,
Do I have a second? I will second that. Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed?
nay.
Okay, motion carries. All right, we're moving on to department head reports and discussion to include other elected officials. I think Michelle is on the phone. Michelle, make sure you get started. Oh, you're here. Okay, all right. Good.
All right, Michelle Brant, Madison County Auditor. This is my bi-weekly or Board of Supervisor meeting auditor report. I have a budget update. We're in the process of entering data into solutions with a tentative delivery date to the supervisors. for the initial review on Monday the 16th. That will be sent to you individually, and then later this week, we can decide what next week looks like regarding, a meeting, and what you'd like to do with that. Now, the state audit, I've spoken with the state auditor's office for an update on where they are on the fiscal year 24. I'm paraphrasing, I can forward you the email response. They continue to find anomalies and concerns being re-brought up by the public directly to their office. They will not close the 24 until they get everything resolved. And I can send you that email. I have touched base with David Irwin, with Maudlin and Jenkins, and we have a Teams meeting set up next week for him and myself. The resolutions, I'm surprised that you guys did not disclose a conflict of interest. There are 2 resolutions under your agenda. These are departments that fall directly under my authority and my department. Per resolution AO 9925A, you authorized and confirmed that human resources and information technologies would resume under the authority of the auditor's office. You have a conflict of interest, as disclosed earlier, with the auditor's office. Therefore, you cannot discuss nor take action on either of these resolutions listed on the agenda. And I'm not pulling that out of my hat, I did actually do some checking. The RFP, I do want to comment on the HR, I don't know who wrote it, but it demonstrates the same lack of planning as of the approach that was taken when we unseated Auditor Shelley Castor. We had no idea what was involved in being the auditor. We just thought we could get the best thing. Somebody do our bidding. I wondered if you guys realized you missed over 10 specific reports handled by Kelly on behalf of the HR department. They were not listed or itemized on that RFP. And I wonder, I know no one consulted with me about this. You waited till I was having an emergency medical procedure. That was lovely. But anyway, I don't believe Kelly was consulted as well. I invite any of our county employees or here or managers are here tonight to speak during public comment tonight, how they feel, or share what they think of losing direct access to a human being who follows up and ensures everything is done correctly. Perhaps they would also like to provide feedback on how outsourcing IT went. The same applies for the RFP on the custodial services per resolution 101425C SPV. You place the authority for custodian and courthouse, again, with your direction, under the auditor's office. So I did confirm that you must first take that back from me before you proceed to do things like that. I don't know if your attorney's on the phone tonight, but maybe he can consult with him. Let's see, I guess I just want to comment, when I look through these RFPs, and I just don't even know if anybody understands what a bottom line looks like. Do you guys understand? I mean, you've made statements to avoid cutting services from the auditor's budgeting timeline. I saw that in an email. You've already cut services that you think you need to cut by outsourcing HR and custodian of the courthouse duties. Do you know what infrastructure is? In county government, it is your employees. It is your accounting systems and other systems that keep the government running. What do we know when we start to erode infrastructure? Take a look at the last year. We have fines, missed deadlines, astronomical training costs, correction costs, cost to developers. I'm talking about city developers and TIF, our cities who didn't get their tax incremental financing. Their projects weren't turned on. So they missed a whole year of they're gonna have to bump it out to get their developer costs covered. These are things that get missed. So, there are also taxpayers. And again, I'm gonna restate, I take 1 week for a medical procedure, emergency medical procedure, and you decide that's what you wanted to do with tonight's meeting. Shame on you. So I am sickened and I'm disgusted after listening to over 4 hours of an audio that everybody evidently has between our leadership of this county, about our leadership in this county. And I am in awe of the sheer length that you would go to seek and destroy long-standing, competent careers. But you know, I feel vindicated because it's no longer a conspiracy theory that we all made up in our heads. I'm gonna get back to my report, because I feel like right now I just bordered on a little bit of a public comment, and I don't wanna do that. I'm astounded at the crazy you brought into this county. You recruited them to come, you recruited people to come in to do a job, not to do a job, but to do your bidding. That was a requirement I heard on tape. So next on my list is to conduct my own forensic audit. My questions, and yes, these have been forwarded to the DCI and the State Investigator's Auditor's Office. But I wanna know, when Leslie Beck and Julie Taylor had VPN access to the Solutions payroll, who else had access? Why did payroll get so messed up during this time period? And you guys can sit and tell me all day long. You needed a government computer to get on to do that. And then I listened to these recordings, I think, yeah, probably did. I want everyone to take this very seriously. It may be ha ha ha, you know, that's so funny, those tapes weren't authorized. I don't care if anything comes of them, as long as you guys hear them. When something, and I'm gonna stop because I'm getting really upset, but I wanna ask you, my next question is, what is my next step? Do I need to get an attorney? Jessica, you accused me of having an attorney. I don't have an attorney. I won the election, and you won't let me do the job. Keep it up. So my point is, maybe I just get an injunction against you. When does the personal retaliation stop? There's nothing more evident on those tapes about personal retaliation. You signed more, Heather, more overtime hours for Chip during my tenure as board clerk than anybody else. And now it's a problem. It is a problem. Overtime is a problem. Anyway, please, I remind you, you've indicated you have a conflict of interest with me, the entire auditor's office, the attorney's office. And I think you did that to pull off your slimy meeting with your board's counsel. And unfortunately, I'm not sure you realized it, but you need to recuse yourself from any actions or discussions regarding those departments falling under my department. That's all I have to say.
Presentation of the George Washington Carver Memorial Highway, DeMorris Dean.
That was me, I said.
You said what? Did you just say I suck?
Yeah.
Well, fuck you!
This isn't happening.
If that continues, that means
Yeah, she made a face and made gestures.
So she can say what she says,
she's
but I
leaving
can't?
too.
I see how this fucking place works. Excuse me?
Sir, I'm very sorry to get what just that. I'm sorry. You're a bad one, aren't you? You're just good. Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. My name is DeMorris Dean. I'm the president for Rowena Sigma chapter of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. I am here to address you today. I don't know if you received everybody got a copy of the resolution. So just so everyone else will know, I'm here to ask for your support as a municipality in which we're trying to get the Highway 92 from mile marker 107 to 130, which goes from Winterset to Indianola, renamed, or I should say, subnamed historically for George W. Carver. And the reason behind the renaming of it is to memorialize one, as a member of Phi Beta Sigma. He is a distinguished member of Phi Beta Sigma. Also, he's a resident, or was a resident, of Winterset. When he was given an opportunity, his second opportunity to go to college, first one was taken away from him at Highland College in Kansas because of the color of his skin. He was given an opportunity to go over to Simpson College, in which, just like going to Highland, he didn't know if he'd be accepted. So at that time, it was walk-up registration. He walked 25 miles with his belongings with him, along what is now Highway 92. Well, we know that he was then accepted at Simpson College. So this is just to bring highlight and tourism to the communities in which I've named, as we rename this as a memorial to him and his actions in being a resident.
Thanks for all your work and
Thank
your,
you.
when you sent me that email, it looked like spam.
I heard that.
And I debated, I wanted to open it, and I thought, oh no, and I'm so glad I did, and thank you. I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
Wasn't he really wanted to study music and Simpson encouraged him to go into, is that right?
No,
No.
he is an artist. Most people don't know that. You have artwork in your park here, and those that have looked at that, he is an artist first. Okay? He went to Simpson College to study art. He was in his art classes. It was there where Ed Budd, who became his teacher, instructor, saw his likens to his paintings that he did were mostly of nature. And because of that, he was always a budding gardener. He gardened all the time. He did do things with that, but that was not his reasoning for going there. She convinced him to take up botany. And because of her father, who was teaching at or over the department at Iowa State, or now Iowa State. So that is how he got into the field, but it was only by happenstance.
Thank you. Thanks for all your work.
Thank you so much.
It was really well written.
So,
Yes.
if and when we pass this resolution, what happens next?
Well, just, I've already had 2 municipalities that have already, given their support by, issuing the resolution, or passing the resolution. It is, I would just say, I am anxiously awaiting it. We are, as a fraternity or as an organization, we, share something with him, which is, honor that he went to Simpson College first, and then Iowa State. My collegiate chapter, Kappa Gamma, also started at Simpson College and then moved to Iowa State. After we get these signed, we're looking at on the 28th of February, we will be doing a historic walk. We will walk that entire mileage, okay, to commemorate that. And every year after that, we will invite the community to partake in a walk of such on the last Saturday of the month.
All right, thank you very much.
And just, I know some people have had questions. What is the cost to the community? It's gonna be donations. So it's not I'm not asking for anything here. I'm only asking for the support that the state says I need to acquire if we wanna have signage in the right of way.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now it's time for public comment. We normally have people come up in public comment here first on site, and then we take folks on the phone. We do have a lot of people here, so I'd ask to be sure to keep it short. If it goes long, we may actually cut off public comment to make sure we finish the rest of the agenda. We've had a couple of things on the agenda that have been bumped once before. So, for those that wanna come, make public comment, just come up to the microphone, state your name, where you're from, and you have 3 minutes. Thank you.
My name is Joel Whelchel, I live in Winterset. Some of these meetings, or most of these meetings are pretty negative, so I thought I'd try to bring some positivity to the meetings. Best way I can think to do that is to give a shout out to some of the hardworking people in this county. Kaylee Barber, we went from the outhouse to the penthouse in treasurers. Thank you for your work. Mike, where's Mr. Hackett? Our engineer, Mike Hackett, his knowledge and experience saves this county a lot of money. We are well aware of that. Thank you for your work. Jason Barnes, you and your staff do an excellent job.
Thanks, Uncle Joel.
And it was quite apparent when you sniffed out the embezzlement of the previous treasurer right away. We know that putting other people's lives under a microscope is not an easy thing to do, but it's your job. We appreciate it. Michelle Brant. Well, I'll talk to her again later. Let her know how much we thank her work. We know the mess she was put into. There's a reason she got 72% of the vote. We hope she runs for re-election. She'll get a hell of a lot more than that the next time. I'd like to thank some other people. Michaela Simpson in elections. Kelly Skerrick, HR Director. Chip C in maintenance. Brandy McCumber, our recorder. Stephen Swanson, our county attorney. Thaddeus Smith in Veterans Affairs. Mitch Johnson, Homeland Security. Diane on the Board of Supervisors. And last but not least, Brady Portman, our administrator. Having worked for counties in another state before, I understand the work that's necessary and the selflessness you need to do your job. And we just want to make sure you understand how much we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's next?
Joan Naylor, I work at Veterans Affairs. I'd like to know, when we sat in this meeting last month, and it was determined that Thaddeus and I were moving to the auditor's office, why did that go away? And when were you going to tell us? And when were you gonna tell us you were dumping us in the old EMT building?
That will be addressed later on in the agenda.
You can't tell me anything now, or you just won't?
I'm gonna stick to the agenda.
We better have a better answer than
There's
that.
some
Oh, I do.
misinformation going out there, so.
I got a good one.
She'll clarify, so. All right, anyone else wish to speak?
Vicky Brenner, otherwise known as the Energizer Bunny in Craig Berkman's audio recordings. Winterset. You all took an oath in front of a judge declaring you would protect the rights, property, and welfare of Madison County and its residents. By now, most everyone is aware of those audio recordings that have been turned over to DCI for investigation into malfeasance and criminal intent. Just last year, Human Resources Director was wrongfully terminated, only to be reinstated a day later. Did you truly believe we would forget such a blatant misuse of power? Now, a year later, you present another plan that weakens our county? The outsourcing of both HR and the maintenance department? You've already decimated public health and outsourced the IT department. Last week, the board discussed moving veterans into the courthouse HR office before the HR outsourcing conversation took place. Clearly a backdoor maneuver that has been orchestrated behind the scenes, which violates open meeting laws. But that wouldn't be the first time, would it? The sale of the public health building will displace our veterans' services. Yet there has been no coherent plan for where those services will go. Just scattered random ideas offered by incompetent officials who have repeatedly proven they're untrustworthy. The most absurd proposal yet. Forcing veteran services into the dilapidated EMS building, an old car dealership that was converted from a mechanic's garage into space for the EMT. OSHA hit the county with $10,000 in fines after a surprise inspection in 2018. In 2019, the cost of renovating the space was estimated at $250,000. At one point, the BOS considered tearing the entire building down. When Stancil ran for BOS, she toured the EMS building and said, quote, "It is in sore need," end quote. Now, because they are hell-bent on selling the public health building, which is still a valuable county asset that is ADA compliant, Hobbs has come up with this ridiculous idea of resurrecting the old ambulance space. I toured that building in 2018. She was correct when she called it a, quote, dump. Why would she spend taxpayer money on mold, asbestos, and sewer camera work without a basic understanding of its history? It's either incompetence or intentional malfeasance. Why are we even considering the idea of placing the men and women who have served and sacrificed for this country, for every single person in this room, into a substandard facility that's gonna cost us money? Frankly, after listening to 6 hours of those audio recordings, I would have thought you would be so embarrassed you wouldn't show up tonight, let alone continue on your path of destruction. But here we are. Your hubris and violation of the words you spoke under oath clearly show you have no shame.
Time's up, Ms. Brenner.
And I would like you to receive and file my
Motion to receive
comments.
and file.
So moved.
I also
Second.
have research to back up my comments
All in
and
favor,
statements.
please vote
That'd be
aye.
great. Do you have the
Aye.
information for those previous quotes and the
Yep.
OSHA fines?
Yep.
You gonna
Right
submit
here.
them in the
Yep.
record?
Yep, they're here, it's all here.
Aye.
Who would like to speak next?
Hannah Davis, Winterset. I don't really have anything prepared this time. Actually, I really don't usually have anything prepared when I come to these anyway, but, what I find really interesting that I clocked last time when I asked a question directly to the board, just almost took the opportunity to respond to me. But Heather stopped her, and I think that's because you don't wanna have a debate and you don't wanna have discussion. And I feel like that's true again, when you were just asked about being able to stand your ground on what's happening with the Veterans Affairs Office and where it's being moved. I find it really interesting that instead of in the moment where you can, talk with your constituents and have a back and forth, you instead wait to the part of the meeting where we don't have a voice. Can you speak to that?
I can, yes. I've been raked over the coals about us responding to somebody during public comment and using their time. So I'm gonna allow you to finish and use your time. We are going to be addressing the concerns about public health at a later time on the agenda.
Why are you continuously removing employment from our county? Why was IT outsourced? Why are we looking to outsource more? Why are you taking jobs away from people in the community?
We don't normally do back and forth during public comment, we have to stick to the agenda.
I know, but you've
So-
still never messaged
so-
me back, so I don't really know how else I can get you to talk to me.
I don't recall you reaching out to me.
I did reach out to you and you did reach back out to me and I thanked you for that. Heather has never responded to
I
me.
don't recall getting that, but I can look through my emails. But we need to stick to our agenda. So she says she's gonna address the Veterans Affairs, and if that's not to your satisfaction, please reach out to us again and we'd be happy to discuss with you. All right, who would like to speak next?
My name is Susan Mrzena from Winterset. I am addressing you because recently we were told Madison County is in some financial trouble. The only reason that I can ascertain for that trouble is our Madison County supervisors' mismanagement and inadequate vision for what is needed. We have been sued by the best of the best. When Stancil refused to let the wind turbines come in that they had already agreed to, we got sued. And then that was a whole debacle for a year and a half. Of course, now they've built and wind turbines don't cost cancel. And the other thing is when the wind turbines were being repurposed, Stancil said that they were in her town. They weren't even in our county. That was done in the county north of Madison County. I have all my proof. I talked to the department up in Des Moines. The other thing that really bothers me is I worked for the state for 20 years. We never ever hired someone on a contract and saved money in any way. And if you're thinking about rehiring or sending out our HR people or our maintenance staff, anyone, you're not gonna be saving any money. And there was so much other things that need to be done that it is trying to divert our attention. But we really want to see our veterans taken care of. I have veterans in my family back before the 250 mark. We have been in the Virginia since 1556. We have served and served and served, not to be thrown into some old dump. And if you think that's a good place to work, move your offices.
Who would like to speak next?
Joann Collins, Winterset. We all have a lot of feels about this. The last meeting here I attended, something popped into my brain. I'm gonna age myself a little bit. You don't know what you've got till it's gone. Pave paradise and put up a parking lot.
Who would like to speak next?
Pat Navin, Winterset. I was the principal officer of the Teamster Local Central Iowa. And we went through a process with our building. The members did not want it sold. There was 3 locals in there. We purchased the entire building. The parking lot that was in disrepair because we couldn't all agree on the cost. I got that done. We made money that year. We didn't sell the building. We didn't take the money, go buy Bitcoins or go to Prairie Meadows or any other type of gambling that you guys are considering. And I'm ashamed of those actions.
Anyone else wish to speak? Otherwise, we'll move to the phone.
My name is Laurie Greenman, Second Deputy Auditor, Winterset. I would just like to address the board in your RFPs for the custodial portion of this. Please reconsider, in your RFP, you have where a contracted person has time limits to respond to, number one, an emergency. That time is 2 hours. Now, if a water main breaks in the courthouse, we don't have 2 hours. That's like telling a fireman, don't go to that fire, you've got 2 hours. So I would like for you to reconsider that and increase that just a little bit. Also, with human resources, it's easier to talk to one-on-one person rather than being sent to a call center, online, holding, and then you still don't get an answer, so you have to call back to the call center. So please also consider just keeping the people that are here at their positions, which they truly love, and hopefully we can all make this work together.
Thanks, Laurie. All right, anyone else here that wish to speak? Otherwise, we'll move to the phone. Okay, we'll go ahead and move to the phone. Folks, if there's anyone on the phone that wishes to speak, please hit *6 to unmute your phone and state your name and where you're from, and you have 3 minutes.
Hello,
Okay, go ahead.
can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi, Steve Swanson, Winterset. I was calling because Michelle had earlier said if there were any, sorry I'm not there, I've been suffering too long. If there was any consequences to the outsourcing we've seen so far. So some solutions took over as our IT department. The county attorney's office was without or with limited internet for 5 weeks. It took them 5 weeks to solve a problem, which ended up being a wire in the dome, which on-site IT could have fixed that day. When we called them after we discovered the problem, they said, well, we'll get to you on our visit next month. Our office requires us to download a lot of material as well as send a lot of material, large files. Every time they get cut off, we have to restart. It's incredibly frustrating and we can't really get our job done, but we allegedly save money. Another part I want to say, part of my job as county attorney is to protect and defend the county in all legal matters. And you might not choose to agree with me or to listen to me, but there's some basic facts that are legal matters. If you have a conflict and you vote on something, that can lead to a lawsuit against the county, potential litigation in the county. Conflicts don't just come and go at your convenience. A conflict is a conflict. And if you had conflicts with the auditor's office on January 5th, which you never described, unless you can tell how those conflicts were resolved, you, Jeff and Heather, still have a conflict with the auditor's office and cannot vote on any action that involve the auditor's office or you expose the county to potential litigation. That's all I really have to say about it, so I hope you make the right choice.
All right, anyone else that wishes to speak that's on the phone? All right. We'll go ahead and close public comment. Moving on to resolutions for board consideration. The first resolution is approving the 2025 Annual Historic Preservation Commission report. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved, and I wanna thank Colleen for all your really hard work.
Yes, thank you very much for that, that's awesome.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. The second resolution is approving the purchase of a security server with Johnson Controls for $10,953. Jess, I know you had asked a bunch of questions last meeting. Did you get any information?
Nope.
Okay. I did, just to share some information on the board on this, is that our two other buildings, the EMS building and this building, actually use Watchdog or something like that, digital Watchdog. And the Annex and the EMS building actually can back up each other, and you have one login access. By having a completely different server at the courthouse, you can't do that. So our law enforcement would have to log into two separate devices, and if anything ever failed, nothing can fail over. There's no diversity. So what plus Watchdog, you don't have to do annual license increases, it's one and done. So what I'd like to do is get a price comparison between the Johnson Controls, the cost of the server, the annual increase, the annual license requests versus what is the Watchdog, digital Watchdog. And then obviously there's the whole diversity issue, because what I don't want to happen is if something happens to a server, then our guys can't access any of the other buildings. So I'd like the board to consider tabling this until we have a little bit more information so we can do a apples to apples comparison.
Let's table it until the next regular meeting, that will give everybody time to get the information. I would move to table it until the
Okay.
next regular meeting.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, any further discussion on tabling? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
And I did check, the current server we have does go end of life in October, so we wanna make sure we make a decision prior to that. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Okay, the next one is approving the, pharmacal opioid national lawsuit settlement to Turning Point for $80,000 for the Hope curriculum. This is the rest of the money that they required?
Yes, yes, and they
Okay.
put about 100,000 of their own. This has been incredibly successful in our schools with Turning Point using the Hope curriculum and all these counselors. The first, quarter we served almost, it was over 371 students. We're getting better and better at scheduling. At Halloween night, I got, a text from a mother that she could hear her 6-year-old say, "You need to stop, think, and choose." That's what they're teaching them. She was speaking to the dog. It is proving to be incredibly successful. It is, and it's in all 3 schools. We have wonderful letters and testimonials from these kids, and some of them are really cute. The kids are, a little 8-year-old said that the big kids were trying to get him to do something naughty, and he said, "No, I have to stop, think, and choose." And so it's really teaching these children, and they're in the school. It's not like DARE where they try to scare you. It's really been successful in all 3 schools.
Do you know, Diane, if they're gonna be able to successfully get more funding from
We
the
are,
state?
we are working on grants. We did send, we did ask for money at the state level, and it's pending.
Okay.
So we are reaching out to more money, because this,
Cause we don't have enough.
well, and the
ours.
opioid money is, it trickles in. It was a lawsuit, a class action lawsuit against all the pharmaceutical companies for opioid addiction. And it's so, they can drag that out forever, and they sort of are, so it kind of trickles in. But yes, we are looking for all avenues that we can, and Natalie helps, thank you.
Good, that's good. So
Yeah,
hopefully they'll,
it's very successful, and
Hopefully
other
they'll
schools
move
are
on
kind of looking at us, yeah.
just what you might wanna do is reach out to our legislators too, to kind of help speed that along, maybe?
Well, we're in competition with one of them,
Oh,
so, but I
okay.
will.
Okay. All right, so I'll go ahead and entertain a motion to, release the rest of the money, the $80,000 from the opioid.
Well, we still
settlement
have more
fund?
money than that, but that's what they're
That was the
asking
original
us.
agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I'll entertain a motion to approve this resolution.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I can second it, I just sit on, I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next one is approving appointments to Madison County Medical Death Investigators, or Medical Examiner. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, approving work agreement, for the asbestos testing for the elderly services building. Did you wanna talk about it now?
Yeah,
or you
I'll
wanna
talk,
wait?
yeah, let's talk about this.
Okay.
So I have 3 resolutions queued up for asbestos testing, mold testing, and a sewer scope at the elderly services building. Let's be very clear. I know there's a lot of downright lies, on social media about this situation. I began meeting with Veterans Affairs and Public Health, last March and April. This isn't something we've been rushing through now, but we have not made a decision yet. This is something that we've been exploring. Given that we have a 7,000 plus square foot building that is currently housing 2 part-time employees. 2 part-time employees, and over 1.5 acre lot. We have extra space in the elderly services building, we have extra space in the courthouse. So I have been elected to lower taxes, and to do that, we need efficient government. We don't need bloated excess in our government if we're gonna achieve our goals. In the elderly services building, in the back western part of it, being remodeled would be a very nice space, and it would bring the privacy that Veterans Affairs has complained about not having at the courthouse, or at this building. We could fairly easily add a handicap accessible restroom with parking right next to the office space, and maybe even a free meal if they went over to elderly services. The statements that this is an unsafe, toxic building are a bunch of baloney. But that's why I have queued up to do indoor air quality testing. That's why I have queued up to do asbestos testing, because in my opinion, we need to do that regardless. Because if we have an unsafe situation, we need to make sure we're addressing it, whether or not the veterans move into there or not. Now, I've heard complaint after complaint about moving the veterans into the courthouse. I'd love to hear some sound, reasonable reason and logic of why they shouldn't move to elderly services. But again, that decision hasn't been made. these 3 resolutions, I think we need to do regardless, for that space. So,
So again, no decision has been made.
no decision has been made. This is, let's call this what it is. This is veterans being used as political pawns. That's what this is.
I don't think so.
Well, not your
You
time.
wouldn't know.
So, point of order.
Is that what you're doing by moving them out of the building they were already in?
No,
not
I'm
telling us-
being responsible.
Point of order.
Let's not do
This is not the time for public comment.
Okay, let's move on.
So Jess,
Okay.
we are gonna be, you wish us to consider approving these testings?
I would like to,
To see if, yes, and I do have some feedback, that more stuff regarding HHS, we can address later on in the agenda. I spoke with them and got some feedback from them too, so,
regarding that building.
regarding that building, yeah. So I can share that, if you want to now, or I can do it later.
Is it relevant to?
Well,
Just do it now. You're
we'll just
on
do
the
it now, we'll
topic.
talk about it now. So basically, they, had a long conversation with their team. There is no ICN node at the Elderly Services Building. There is one with capacity at the courthouse. And the concern I had with them, I said, well, you know, with the ADA issue, we wanna make sure you had ADA compliance. They said, well, we don't really see a lot of people, public-facing people. We use the office for office work, you know? They're normally out and about. And they actually said they would prefer the courthouse, and the reason why is most of their clients, they see during court hours, which makes sense.
Right.
So, they said they would prefer the courthouse, but they'll go wherever we decide. But knowing that we'd have to probably move the ICN node from the public health building to, if we move to the elderly services building, and that would take some time. So I've reached out to the ICN network to see, and I'm working with their team to see how long that would take, and they're working on getting that information to me. So based on my experience with telecom, it's gonna take at least 30 days, potentially 60 to do that. I don't know if that's the most efficient way, now that I know that they're really not seeing clients per se in their offices. They don't necessarily would need ADA compliance, so I'm thinking maybe with HHS, it might be better for them to be in the courthouse.
Well, and would they be best served in Michelle's old office, in that part of the auditor's office, or in the other part with the counter? I mean,
Well,
to me, they could go in that doorway and then straight into
So
their.
you're gonna move
that.
vets into the courthouse?
no, this is HHS.
Oh, well,
HHS.
yeah, but they're not
So-
there every day.
Right, but they still, when I talked to them, they said that, you know, they normally would fall under ADA, but once I talked to them again, they said, well, we really don't see clients, but the reason why they'd like to be in the courthouse is because most of the time when they do see people, it's during court hours.
Heather, maybe tell people how often that is, so they know.
For the court.
How many times a week or month that they meet.
I think it's once a week.
Yeah,
is when they
that's
have
why
court.
I thought maybe everybody would know.
Once a week they have, thank you, Michelle. Once a week they have court. So it's not like something they'd be there all the time. They were open to whatever we decide. I just wanted to share that with the board, with some perspective on what they had. I'm kind of leaning, given this new information, having HHS in the courthouse. It'd be an easy move for them. The ICN node is already there. It would facilitate the needs of their clients a little bit easier. But again, it's up to the board, so.
Yeah, and
I
I
just
don't
thought I'd
think,
share that.
I don't think elderly services would be appropriate for them, because it'd be hard to put anybody else in that space, and either one of them to have any privacy, versus Veterans Affairs, they would be their dedicated space.
So just another thought as we work through this is that I think HHS might be better in the courthouse based on that feedback, but we can talk about it further once we have more
Do
information.
we wanna do another work session to talk through this matter and discuss if we wanna pursue after we potentially do an indoor air quality test, asbestos and
I don't think we can really make any final decisions until those are done. But I'm just telling the board, I'm leaning towards HHS and the courthouse based on the new information I got from them. So we'll go ahead and go back to the resolutions. I will entertain a motion to approve the work agreement for asbestos testing at the elderly services building.
So moved, and we need to discuss the options.
Okay, and do I have a second?
I'll second.
She'll second it, and so now we're in discussion, so you have,
So I got pricing from 3 different, entities. Now, I know that we've talked a lot about trying to keep business local, and I wanna do that as much as we can. But asbestos testing is kind of a different animal. We've had quite a range. We had a quote from Terracon for $2,950, EOC $2,315, and Iowa Environmental for $1,500. Iowa Environmental is also the company that a lot of different contractors use, and they do their own testing, and that's why they're more competitive. And they are not housed in Winterset or Madison County. I believe they're in maybe West Des Moines. They're in the Des Moines metro area. So I would make a motion that we award the asbestos testing for,
You have a resolution for the name,
so we have a motion to approve it, we just needed to.
you don't
pick a
have the
name. So we should probably make another,
you'd have to make a resolution to approve this.
Okay.
You can
Yeah.
approve that you wanna go forward, but you don't
Okay.
have a resolution for the
That's
person.
Well, the resolution has a blank line.
It has a blank line
Yeah,
for
it
it.
has a
You've got all the information
to do it.
so.
All right.
All 3 of them are blank, so you can discuss the
Okay.
quotes
I
and then
apologize.
decide.
Okay.
Yeah,
So maybe we should, when we did a resolution to approve, we didn't put the name, so,
I know, cause we had to discuss
okay,
it.
so let's,
Do you wanna hold it and approve it at our next meeting?
no,
Just
no,
the
no,
name?
we'll just do a
Motion
resolution, just do a motion to approve
To
whatever.
say the name.
the name.
Okay. All right, I'll make a
amount.
motion to approve Iowa Environmental to provide asbestos testing
In the amount of,
in the amount of $1,500.
Where do you guys want us to pay that out of?
we'll have to determine that. We'll have to determine that.
Okay. You just let me know.
So, there's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
I seconded it.
Okay, all in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay, I'm not for spending money on this, nay.
Okay, motion carries. The next one is approving work agreement for mold testing for LD Services Building. What, you wanna speak to that?
So another situation where we don't have a lot of local contractors that do this. We had one local contractor, Rainbow Restoration. They were not the most economical. They came in at $2,014.
Rainbow did.
EOC, it came in at $2,230. And the mold test company, which is a nationwide company that uses local contractors, they don't have someone from Madison County, but they came in at $1,314. Now, I would be inclined, to use Rainbow on this one. They are a local contractor. The mold test company, quite honestly, they downright harassed me regarding this bid, and you know, not knowing who they would use for the testing and all that, you know, I would have more of a comfort level with Rainbow myself.
Okay.
So I would make a motion that we approve indoor air quality testing, which includes mold testing and also includes elderly services section of the building, just to ensure it's a safe space for them as well. And that we award that to Rainbow for $2,014.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion?
I am for the mold testing because I think that building would be perfect to store county conservation, machinery in it, and we don't want mold in it. So I would be for the mold testing.
Just a point of clarification, I don't think I mentioned this, I know I was advised, after I dove into this, it was a mere few weeks ago, that there had been a mold issue in that building. But then I was also advised that it had been addressed, and so of course I immediately pursued indoor air quality testing to make sure. But given that, you know, it makes sense that we would go ahead and test in the elderly services building, so all these proposals include testing in the elderly services section of the building as well. there's one other point I wanna make about the tank, but I'll wait till we get through these.
Okay. So there's a a motion on the floor and a second for Rainbow. We have any further discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, and the next one is the sewer, approving work agreement for sewer scope testing.
The sewer scope, they're not all sewer contractors actually have cameras, and so I limited these quotes to 2 different contractors that we already do work with and our local contractors. Smith Sewer provided a quote of $480. They said should be able to get it done in that amount of time. It's a pretty small space. And what this is basically just because we don't have any drawings, that note the location of the piping, the sewer piping in the restroom, they're just gonna get a camera to go down there and locate the piping, basically, so that contractors, if we do pursue, whether it's an RFP or just, contracts from, general contractors, then they know exactly what they're dealing with on the plumbing side.
And this would be part of our normal documentation, so anytime in the future, if we need anything, we would know where everything's at.
Yes, all 3 of these things, I think need to be done regardless of whether or not someone's immediately moving into that space. In my opinion, it's just being responsible with that building and how we're gonna use it for the future. So the Smith Sewer quote was for $480, and her plumbing was $450 to $550.
So why the range for them?
You know, it's just all over the phone.
450
and
and 550. Did you put bids out for any of these, or just call them?
No, I just called them, with the mold testing and the asbestos testing, they came out and walked the space, all of them except, well, Iowa Environmental didn't, and Terracon didn't need to, but they were able to estimate it based on pictures that I sent them. The sewer scope, it's the same thing, just talk to them, send pictures if they needed it. It's fairly quick in and out, it's not gonna take very long to scope those lines.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the sewer scope.
So moved.
With whom?
I'm gonna say Smith Sewer, given our experience with them. For $480.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion?
Again, I'd like the record to reflect that I think this is an old building, it was a garage, and I think we should let sleeping dogs lie.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Okay, motion carries. All right. And Michelle, I'll get information to you on.
Thank you. Whether it's 99.51, I mean, I just kinda wanna keep track. Cause I don't think this kind of matches up with what we were gonna do at the courthouse as far as moving someone else there.
Right. Well, there's still some balls in the air, and we'll keep you in the loop on that.
Was there intention to do something else with that space? With the
Okay, what I'm
courthouse?
saying is we were gonna defray the cost when we got the bids for moving Veterans Affairs, the doorway openings. We're gonna use the money from the sale of the public health building.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure that all tracked on the books,
Okay.
and that's what I'm trying to just kind of remind you guys about.
Right. Okay. All right, moving onward is approving authorization and solicitation of an RFP for custodial services. Just to clarify for the public, we're not doing anything, we're just soliciting bids. That's all this is.
Without involving the auditor.
We're soliciting bids, and budgetary items come under the authority of the Board of Supervisors.
Sorry, what?
The budgetary items come under the authority of the Board of Supervisors. So we're looking for
But
ways.
HR does not.
The budget decisions are ultimately the authority of the supervisors. So we are looking for ways to save money. We don't know our budget, to your point, Michelle, because we are still trying to figure out our budget. And we need to find ways to lower costs, lower taxes. And one of the things is to outsource or outbid. Now, this doesn't mean people are gonna be going away. It depends on how the bids come back. If they come back higher, then we're gonna reevaluate.
You totally justify keeping people on staff.
Correct.
We won't know until we explore it.
Correct. So nothing is being decided, all this is, we're soliciting bids, that's it.
Legal counsel has stated you probably shouldn't discuss this, you have a clear conflict of interest. Do you think you
I've
should?
already ran both RFPs through Allers and Cooney and they had no issue. So,
So outside counsel said it's okay.
we had legal advice tell us that, yes.
I'm
So,
perfectly okay with tabling this until, there's more time for others to review and other people impacted. And see if there's information that they feel is not covered in there.
And I also add that the timing is pretty poor because, me aside, you're asking for the return of these RFPs back, after we're posting for our first budget.
so,
You understand?
if I could explain that a little bit, is we wanna make sure that if we have to make any changes, we have time to do so before the budget is due on April 3rd.
I don't wanna relive what
What-
we did last year.
What, I don't either, but the only thing that's due March 5th is the maximum levy. So all we as a board need to tell you is what we plan on spending. We don't have to have the actual full budget ready, we didn't do that last year. So all we have to do is say, hey, I believe last year we said, we don't want you raising taxes. And that's what was put out, what the maximum levy is. We don't have to have a final budget done by March 5th. So we have to, as long as we have something done by April 30th, we're good.
However, you have to understand, there are statutory things we're gonna be required to do,
Right,
so we can't make that up.
correct.
So you can't just push this can until it's too late to do anything about it.
So,
And I still don't understand, we brought this up last year. Why didn't we start the process if this was the plan?
we were hoping we'd be in a better position with our budget, Michelle. I mean,
You mean what, financially budget? Like,
we were hoping that we would know, we would have.
Process.
The process would be done. We still haven't met with, we haven't discussed 11 of our departments yet. And I wanted to meet with you earlier and things happened and it didn't work out. And we are slowly going down this we are fast going down this train and we're not gonna be able to make any changes. So the reason why we did this, and we discussed this in our meeting last week, was we wanted to make sure that we were ready with something if we had to make some tough decisions.
Not necessary.
So it's just information
It's just
gathering.
information gathering.
I still don't think you have any authority, but you're gonna do what you're gonna do.
So,
That's okay.
Well, we can get that validated.
so,
Let's table.
I would move it.
so just keep in mind, Jess, it's gonna take 30 days to do an RFP. And right now with this RFP, we'd be awarding it in the middle of March. That's cutting it awfully close. So if we could always shorten the RFP if you want,
Can we put
to
it?
response time. I just
well,
allowed 30 days, we can always shorten it.
And we could, and can we get it on do we have a meeting queued up for next week to where that will give Michelle and others time to review it more?
Why don't you move it until the next regular meeting? Don't have a special meeting.
Well, the
Move it
problem
to
with
that. Pushing it.
The problem with that is it's pushing it, and we already have union negotiations next week. I mean, we can certainly do that and do a longer meeting on Tuesday if you wanna do that, but,
What's the purpose of having another meeting?
To allow you more time to review. You expressed concern that didn't include all the information and that there were some things missing. So it'd be great to know your thoughts on that.
and just so you know, for the human,
Okay.
the human resources stuff, Michelle, I
That's-
pulled directly off of the job description for HR, that's where I pulled it from.
Well,
So if there's more stuff
hiring an
that's,
individual
Yeah.
for a job description and hiring an outside service is two different things.
And you've got something in there about a director,
I would prefer you just let it
Director,
go as
county
it is, because it's not gonna go
so
anywhere.
there's two different things, there's one RFP for the custodial services, but we talked about this last week, Diane.
I know, but what's the
We
county
still have-
administrator gonna
we-
cost?
And I'm not gonna argue what I've already stated.
So, Diane, we talked about this last week.
I know.
We don't know until we know how much this costs, so we have to do the RFP first to see how much things cost, and then we make determinations. It may not be cost effective, and if it's not, then we won't do it.
Then how many weeks do you want, Michelle? Michelle, how
So
many
do we-
weeks do you want? We could set up the meeting, what would work for them.
We're gonna have no board clerk as of tonight, okay? You guys get me for the board clerk. I love you. It's your last night. Thank you, Matt. Matt, thank you for being here tonight. And, so.
Lance
that's,
isn't taking over the board clerk duties then?
We're gonna actually just, alternate through our whole office. Instead of pinholding one person who feels that they have to make a choice between doing the supervisors and our auditor stuff, so you're just gonna get who you get, cause we're all cross-trained anyway.
Okay.
So what's
So-
convenient, Michelle?
So,
I'm not prepared to answer that question tonight, because
So-
I'm still in disagreement with this whole action,
I am
so
too.
you might wanna take your vote now and.
so
we'll
if
see
we,
where it all falls. Not gonna
if we wanna
participate in
push it,
something
if
I
we wanna
disagree
push
with.
it, that's fine. We already have a meeting on next Tuesday, just know that it's gonna push the date out, and we're not gonna, more time before we know whether or not this is gonna save us money. I just don't wanna be deciding last minute where we're forced to cut things, and I don't wanna be doing that.
I was trying to allow you more time, Michelle, to review,
You know
but
what,
if you're
you're
not gonna
good.
give any feedback anyway, then.
Then do we
Make it
just
all my
take a
fault.
vote, or what?
Sorry I put you on the spot, Michelle. I was just trying to make it.
It doesn't matter.
So, well,
You guys
then
had
I
your
will,
opportunity a month ago with feedback.
so, I'll entertain a motion to approve the RFP, or I'll entertain a motion to table
For custodial?
for,
Or human
custodial,
resources?
custodial.
Table, I would make motion to table it.
To win.
Well, it's a open table, you table it.
Pardon?
Yeah,
It's a table until someone from the
Until
board
someone
brings it
brings
back
it
up.
That's would be my motion, until it's brought back up.
Guys, for lack of second.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the solicitation, authorization of the solicitation of RFP for custodial services.
So moved.
To authorize it. The motion died for lack of a second. Her table died for lack of a second.
Okay.
I'll entertain a motion authorizing the solicitation of RFP for custodial services.
So moved.
Is there a second? I will second that. Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Okay, motion carries. The next one is authorizing the solicitation of an RFP for human resources services. Keep in mind, this is not necessarily replacing a person, it is replacing duties. So, depending on what comes back, we don't know what's gonna come back. There's a list in the RFP on what they wanna do, and we may not get anybody.
Right.
So,
And I do wanna say that there are some caveats, I think, in here that, you know, we should have some, outs if it's a less than reputable firm that responds. It shouldn't be.
well, in the Okay, so in the RFP, it specifically says the board reserves the right to not accept any.
Yeah.
So it says it in there. So
Yeah.
just because they send us a bid doesn't mean we have to accept it.
That's right.
So,
I don't know why that's funny, but, okay.
all right,
So I'll make a motion to approve RFP for human resources services.
all right. Is there a second? I will second that. All in favor, please vote. Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
The motion carries. Moving on, motion approving application for renewal liquor license for Big Rock Brew House effective March 4th, 26.
So moved to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next one is a motion approving a renewal of liquor license for Hollow Greenhouse and Floral effective March 1st of 2026.
So moved to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. All right, now it's time for the board reports. Who would like to go first?
Go ahead, Diane.
I attended CCOG, opioid meeting, I worked hard to get names for somebody to serve for the low income for the Matura board. I got 2 and then they both decided they didn't want to do it.
Sounds like what happens to me.
I worked, at the public health, building for the last 2 days, making sure all of the equipment and all of the things went to in-house offices before it seemed to just not be there. So we
don't know that, we don't wanna accuse people of
they
things.
sent an inventory, but,
Yes,
there's
been a lot of accusations going around that are not
there
proven.
were some things that were moved, because I've been in there about, anyway, it doesn't matter. We got it moved, we've got names on it. Thursday we'll start moving things out. There were lots and lots of discontinued, needles and masks and, alcohol and things that you cannot use for humans. So, thank you, Brady. He and I called the vet clinics. They can take all of that, so we don't have to pay to take it to the landfill.
Oh, that's
So the
nice.
vet clinics came, and so all of that will be reused, so we didn't have to pay to, and I didn't want boxes and boxes of alcohol in the landfill. We just paid $600,000 for a new machine, we don't need it covered in alcohol. So, everything in there is kind of being repurposed back into our other offices. There will be things that nobody wants, and I think it won't be enough to have an auction. We'll probably have a tag sale. You'll just come in, hold the tag, pay for it, take it and go. Cause this stuff, I don't think people will take. Nobody wants exam tables and things like that, but that's what we're moving fairly well. I'm not for getting rid of the building, but
Well, thank you you are very good at that kind of stuff, so thank you for doing that.
oh, what do you want to do? You've got that shed, that's a big shed. I thought maybe secondary roads would want it for a seed shed, but they don't think it's tight enough, so that will need to be sold. That's a very nice shed. The trailer is also full of, public health things. Warren doesn't want it, and when I opened it up, the records, we'll have to have somebody figure out what to do with them. A lot of this stuff is a little stinky, and I don't know, it's been there for a long time. We'll have to see, how do you wanna proceed with that?
Well, that's not the board of supervisors call, that's the board of health's call, so I can reach out to Greta and see their board meeting, their next board meeting is the 4th of March, I think.
Warren doesn't seem to want any
They didn't
interest
seem-
in it,
No,
no.
so I'll reach out to her and see what they wanna do.
Ask her how to deal with all the very old records in there. There are some in from 1982 that I feel should be secure shredded.
Yes.
It's got stuff people don't need to read. And then, but we're gonna have to figure out how to proceed if you're really gonna sell the building. We've got to do it correctly so it doesn't hurt the taxpayers.
So I'll reach out to her and, they probably won't be able to talk about it before the next board meeting unless they have another board meeting. So, but I'll let her know that's waiting for it. Do you wanna see if we want to repurpose the shed in one of our other departments somewhere?
I don't think they can. I don't think so. Do you want it, Steve?
Let's
Okay.
take a look at it.
Yeah, if we could take you out there if you, cause Thursday I asked you guys to come and start carrying stuff out, cause some of the office needs the men muscles, so we carry stuff out, but, yeah, I would be fine with that if you guys want it.
Take a look at it.
Alright, thank you.
We'll have to do like a resolution to move it from
Yeah,
us to
we will.
conservation.
And then the trailer, that, I don't know, we're gonna discuss that, but I kinda think that there's been discussed in the sheriff and maybe EMA are talking about that, so we'll go further,
Okay.
but we have to empty it first.
Okay, so do you want me to let Greta know to let us know when they empty it, so then we can do something?
No,
with
ask
it?
her what she wants,
Because if there's
don't
not-
empty it twice. If you're opening it up, then take it out and sort it and then just be rid of it.
Right, but if there's things in there that are old and have personal information, confidential
Well, then we'll
information.
put that in a pile and she can decide to shred it, probably a lot of that. And I'm not comfortable with doing that.
No, me either.
So
Should
they'll have to
probably just
figure that out.
should be someone from her board.
Yes.
Okay, alright.
Or, well, I think you can call the state to want retention of that.
Oh, can call Heather Monday, yeah.
They might know.
Yeah, okay, I'll reach out to Greta to handle that, okay. Anything else? Alright, thank you. Jess?
Had a great ISAC event. I always enjoy getting in the same space with peers from across the state. Lots of good information, lots of stuff happening at the state level, lots of stuff to watch regarding future changes with property taxes and how that's going to potentially impact us locally. So I was very glad to participate with that. I did attend, there's a hazard mitigation committee starting up, with different authorities across Madison County, and FEMA's putting that on. That was a really good event. A couple of weeks ago, we had some progress with our safety, what we're calling kind of our core group of the four of us, with Mitch, Kylie, Kelly, and myself. We're kind of calling ourselves the steering committee. We're working with Brady to get queued up some hands-on training for CPR training for the employees. The intention is to alternate between online safety training and in-person training, and then we've got some other fun ideas that'll be nice to lay out. We've got, we did receive a grant from, excuse me.
Is that the $1,000 one?
For $1,000 for, we use it towards some horn strobes, fire alarm horn strobes that we used at the courthouse. So that was a nice, easy application, and it was something we had already purchased, so hopefully we can find more of those kind of grants. I think that's all I have. Oh, I'm just gonna touch on real quick. Well, we can wait till we get to the new business. Tell you go ahead.
Okay, so mine's short. We had an MPO meeting, and a meeting with HHS. We had I went to the ISAC conference. Let's see what else. I had a call with Laurie and Vicky, and that's it for meetings for board stuff. Oh, and I had a meeting with Board of Health Chair and the Public Health Director in Warren County. All right, anyone else wish to speak on reports? Otherwise, we'll move ahead to old business. Okay, old business. Discuss ADA reports for courthouse and annex. So this is one of the things that we tabled last time. I sent you folks, both you gals, the reports from the annex and for the courthouse. It listed up some, I think, some really easy things to do quickly. And there's some other things that would probably take a little bit longer. What I'd like to do is have a transition plan created, something that would say, by this date we'll do this, by this date we'll do this. I think for the courthouse, the longer transition plan for ADA accessible bathrooms on the main floor, that's a much longer timeline, I think. But I think some of this stuff, if we can work through with Chip and on how to do some of the easy, quick stuff, like adding signs or lowering the signs or something like that. I think that some of that stuff we can easily take care of, and then work on a transition plan for the rest. So I didn't know if the board wanted to have a work session to talk about that, and kind of go over each section and what our thoughts were.
What I wonder is if we could get Michelle and Chip to weigh in on which of these items they think Chip can handle and his team. Because it did seem like there was an awful lot of low-hanging fruit, if you will, with just signage. Yeah. And there, there's a lot of easy stuff to get addressed. Adjusting door closers on faucets. Mm-hmm. That might be something within his wheelhouse. So I wonder if, Michelle, would it be okay with you if we have him weigh in on this and what this looks like, if he could identify things that would be within his wheelhouse?
You did provide that report, and I reviewed it, and I could agree with you, it is low-hanging fruit, something I don't think we need to hire a contractor for.
Right.
If you wanna just turn that over to me, I will take it, or not.
Yeah, you let us know what we, yeah.
And then for the higher hanging fruit,
Let's get the low.
we're gonna have to, the thing is, we're gonna have to have some kind of transition plan ready to go.
And if you wouldn't mind,
So-
just go ahead and put that on my plate,
Okay,
as custodian of the courthouse.
Okay.
And if you give me a deadline,
okay,
so many of these meetings, we've looked out at Michelle and said, and then I don't hear anything.
Okay.
So I will follow up if I am followed up.
So, and I don't think we even kind of solidified as a board, in fairness to you, we did not solidify as a board in direct direction.
No,
So I think,
this is the first discussion of it.
yeah, so I think what if the board is okay, I think we can direct Michelle to kind of take this and run with the low-hanging fruit, and then maybe put together.
Well, I think as a
Things
part of
that-
a 10-year, 5-year plan, the higher transition.
Correct, because as long as we have a transition plan in place, according to the consultant, we can avoid having to do ADA compliant bathrooms right away, as long as it's in a plan. So I
And
think.
may I just clarify, this is the annex and the courthouse?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the annex restrooms are very close to ADA accessible as it is, it'd be very
They
easy
got
to
the
get in there.
partitions,
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
them single use.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's
but the
literally
courthouse,
nothing.
The courthouse is a little bit more
the
complicated.
courthouse report states the restrooms in the basement are not accessible and would be difficult to make accessible.
But it
But
did say you
restrooms on the
had to
third
do
floor
anything.
would have the most potential to be considered accessible. So it'll be something we'll definitely wanna look at.
So Michelle's gonna handle this.
So I'm good with that, board's good with that.
Thanks,
So
Michelle.
you have official direction, thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Okay, so, all right, next one is discuss elderly services building, public health building.
We really have.
We already have, did you have anything else to add?
The tank, the tank was sealed, there was a slurry put into it years ago, I've got a tank report, it's not leaking toxic oil into the, it's
What
safe,
is
it's
that?
been signed off on.
Back by where the cupboards are, what is that pipe?
That was the oil reserves, they had used oil that went out there.
Have that capped.
It already is capped according to the pictures.
I was out there. the-
There's actually several different things that we need to cover in this, like there's gas lines for a resident heater up in the ceiling that were disconnected and not capped, there's a few, there's low hanging fruit there too.
Okay.
Of things, that we're gonna need to address, there's an exhaust for elderly services washer and dryer that is not exhausting out of the building, so there's a few things that we can, I think, do if we address any issues in that, you know.
The
we
ladder
address
needs to
in
be
that building.
fixed and safer.
Yeah, and that could have a platform, and that could be more permanent.
I'd probably do a fold up one that folds down.
Those are dangerous, people just knock themselves out with them, they can, you know, if
I've
we-
got three of them. Okay.
So, but yet to your thing that at least some pictures that you sent it was capped, but it might be a different pipe you're looking at. But so the way I read the report, there was nothing in the tank when they went in there. They cleaned it out 3 times and then they filled it with a cement slurry and capped it. So.
It's a non-issue.
It's a non-issue?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just probably wouldn't wanna go be digging in the ground.
Yeah, you just
No.
need to,
No.
you need to know if you're gonna be digging in the area,
No,
right?
Because if you do and you have any contaminated soil, they'll make us remove
Right.
that will be.
So there is on the form, I don't know where you got that document.
Oh man, it was pulling a lot of threads and it was actually EOC.
It has a map on that, Diane, which shows where it's at,
I know.
so we'll have to keep that in our files for that building, so we know.
That's a really good point. All this data that I'm digging up for that building, there's also a matter of some confusion, if you will, with the address. And what address is listed there, it's all
1008 or
one parcel.
1006, yeah.
And so I know that Sean's working on a way to address that, get some clarity, so he's already pursuing that.
Oh, that's great.
But it makes sense to me that, you know, as I'm gathering this data, anything relevant or pertinent, maybe I'll get a binder going or something.
You need
or
to put it in
some
a.
electronic, whatever I have electronically, we can save in shared folders. But even just a binder to keep it on site,
Do
you know.
both, do an electronic and a hard binder that they can keep
Yeah.
out there on the site.
So that way we're not thinking things or misinformation is being spread, there's actual data, documentation. So, and again, you know, this is still first blush, we're still looking into stuff, so, we're not gonna put people in an unsafe building.
No.
Okay, so, any other thing on elderly services or public health?
No.
Okay.
Audit.
Fiscal 23-24. Again, this
Michelle
is just,
touched on
she
that.
touched on that, this is just a standing thing. She's still here, Michelle, is she still here?
I'm here.
Michelle, if you said that they're not done, how is that gonna affect our fiscal 25 if we don't
I'm
have
gonna
any
talk
forward?
with, David next week.
Okay,
I mean, I literally do not know.
okay.
And so, there are a few things that were brought to my attention, that involve payroll and, some changes that were made. But the nice part of it is I can go in and I can hover and I can see who made these changes. And there will be consequences for that.
Okay, so for that, is there any,
No timeline, no
No timeline?
expectation, sorry.
did the auditor's office give us an extension?
Oh, yeah, they gave us an extension. I reported on that 2 weeks ago.
Okay, oh, I know you sent an email, I didn't know if they came back with an
Yeah.
official. Okay,
Yeah,
So this is
absolutely.
in progress.
I mean, they can't hold my hands behind my back and tell me to, paint a mural. I mean, they can't do that, so they gave us an extension.
okay. And the fiscal 27 budget, do we wanna start scheduling times to meet with you now, so we get it on our calendar, or what would you like to do?
Well, I'd like to deliver by Monday, everything. Do you know?
So we wait to hear from you, how's that?
That'd be okay, yeah.
Okay.
That'd be okay.
Will you be able to provide the maximum levy data too at that time? Okay. All right. Okay, and those are just standing things on our old business until they're resolved, so we may not have any discussion items in the future if they're just there standing. Okay, new business, the IMWCA high-level risk management action plan.
I'll summarize that real quick. So, the Safety Steering Committee has been working with Scott Smith from Iowa Municipalities Workers' Compensation Association, and he's helping us to develop our safety plan, for the county. And they have a program whereby we would be the first voluntary entity to voluntarily sign up for this high level risk management action plan, whereby ultimately they come and help us develop our plan to make sure that we get ahead of these very high workman's comp numbers. We're heading that direction if we don't do something, given our rates and our occurrences. So we kind of worked a situation with them that, hey, we'd love some guidance to help develop this plan and make sure we're keeping it on track, and it's free. But why not do it before we're forced to? So we can get this program off the ground and start seeing the results of safer employees. So this will be discussed. Scott's coming to our next regularly scheduled meeting, 24th. I've told him he has up to 10 minutes to present, if that's okay with both of you. So we'll share.
That's good,
That's good.
Yeah.
And will this help maybe make us look better for our workman's comp premium?
Absolutely, anything that you're showing.
Yeah.
Efforts,
So,
they've been applying our efforts, that we're doing this,
Good.
trying to get a hold of it before we have to.
All right. Well, I'll look forward to that on our next agenda.
Yep.
Okay, so the next one is ordinance review and update. Ryan? Let's see here still.
It's in progress.
It's probably in progress, so
Yeah,
I'm
in
assuming it's in
progress.
progress, so that leads us here towards the end. I don't know if we need anything more on the agenda for meetings.
I think we kind of left it that we would wait to hear from Michelle, didn't we?
Okay, so on Friday, I have the courthouse walkthrough with OPM, the architect.
And Thursday and Friday, I'm unavailable.
Okay, so I'll do that, and the inspectors will be out as well as the architect. So, and they'll basically just do the same thing we did with the contractor.
And you're doing that Friday?
Friday.
Okay, I'll work.
Is that in the morning or the afternoon?
It's in the morning on Friday,
Okay,
the 13th.
so it won't conflict with my office time?
No,
Okay,
Well, you won't be in the room again.
we'll be outside,
yeah,
so.
yeah.
So we're gonna be doing that on Friday. And, yeah, so the one thing I would recommend the board, we're gonna be waiting for Michelle to finish her thing, but you have the packets for each of the remaining departments. I would recommend you guys, if you have any questions, because we're running short on time, please go through those, department worksheets and be ready with questions for Michelle when we meet with her, so we can get through them fairly quickly.
One we haven't discussed is the Historical Society.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, yeah, we'll be ready.
So just try to make sure we're efficient with our time and her time, so we're ready with questions and we can go through it.
Is there any way we could be, us board members could be more proactive with the entities that we haven't met with yet, just kind of?
Well, there's only a couple departments where there's people, the rest is basically we sit down with the auditor.
Yeah.
And go through those. The biggest one is Department 99, that's the biggest chunk. So if, like, for instance, if you have questions, what is this, what does this do? Just, have that ready, so then when we go through it, we go through it really quickly. So, yeah,
You've got the general ledgers for 99, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, we do.
You
And
gave
you
us
can
all-
read through there and tell what goes in here, what
Right.
goes in there.
So like if there's questions on certain things.
And where we are,
And where we
year-to-date
are,
on things.
yeah, so I just want them all ready, so when we meet with you, it's efficient, we're getting through it really quickly, and we don't have to have multiple meetings, we'll just get it done.
I think it's understood.
So, okay, all right, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn, so moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 7:31, thank you.